I want to. She's not here, but I want to dish major praise to Crowdy for coming in so strong to really like shape up the team and bring us up into better practices on the development side. It's so cool to learn how it's done in the real world. So I feel like she's bringing that to us. I also want to give major praise to Heather for taking on all the hiring stuff and being so cool with me just randomly throwing out uh, uh, Heather and Ahmad for throwing out, hey, we need this in marketing, and then like being around. And I also want to dish praise to Septimus and Ahmad and Marco and everyone involved with throwing together a really quick proposal for ENS. Monique is involved in it too. There's a lot of work that we're trying to get like big funding from ENS and a tight deadline, as in tomorrow. And so people are pushing things aside and really putting their focus in. So I want to give a lot of credit to that. And I'll pass it over to Algene.
Thanks, Griff. I want to praise Nico for being my buddy in Istanbul and making a lot of things possible for the Give Connect needs. I also want to praise Fischel for helping me and Nico do some accounting work during our days in Istanbul and for the latest forum post about the Give Connect reimbursement. I also want to praise Griff for making the Give Connect happen and for facilitating a lot of work sessions during the Give Connect. I'm gonna pass it to Nico.
Thanks, Algene. I'd like to give my first praise to Fischel for sending security reminders on how to take care of our crypto wallet. Praise to you, Algene, for being the best buddy in Istanbul, like getting the food and everything that all the logistics that you did in Istanbul. Praise to you, and also praise to Heather and Mother Fischel for our HR call yesterday and for getting back on track on everything related to HR. I'm passing it to Muhammad, the
Thanks,
dancer.
Nico. Hey, everyone. I wanna praise Mitch for learning sequence diagram and trying to create sequence diagrams for our processes, and praise Karate for reorganizing the process of development tasks, and praise Freshel and Nico for doing post retreat things like reimbursement and accounting and something like that. I want to put my other praises in the channel. I pass it to Measure.
Thank you, friend. So I want to praise Kai for incredible conversations and bigger understanding of the whole galaxy. We had some pretty great conversations while being here in Istanbul. Um, I really want to praise Nico and Algene because they were like very authentic and they really helped me a lot during that time, and they actually made me a part of some um, organization, and I really felt super nice about that. And I want to praise Ashley for giving me the tip of um, going to the DAOPS call because it is important. It helped me clarify a little bit more about where do I feel. I'll pass it on to Rochelle.
Thank you. I want to praise Mitch for supporting me with the Give token request with all my questions. And I want to praise everyone who were present at the Give Connect retreat and Dev Connect week. I had so much fun, and I want to praise everyone who made it possible: Daniel, G, Nico, Maya, Pedro, for the coordination and admin work. And also major praise to Griff for making this in real life event possible. I'll pass it to Santi.
Thank you, Frishel. I want to give praise to everyone that made possible the retreat, but a special praise to Algene and Nico for all the in-house work when we were there. I also want to give praise to Frishel for all the work she's putting to make sure everyone gets their reimbursement paid. I want to give praise to Juanqui for missing him. I would have loved to see him there. And I want to give praise to Lauren and everyone that made possible the fantastic Thanksgiving birthday party that we had last week at the house. And I'll pass it to Ashley.
Hey Hey, thanks, Santi. First of all, I want to praise Nicola. She has like helped so much since I've been gone and like just filling in for everything. I never had to worry whether like listing was getting done or like the verification applications were getting processed. She was on top of all of that and on the support, and she still has been on it super hard. And like I couldn't ask for a better teammate when it comes to like project verification and stuff, and just like having that peace of mind and the admin bro. So that has been so great. I want to also praise everybody who came with something to share at the retreat. I don't know whether like I got so many cool gifts like little candies from Mexico or like the books that with the poetry or like just really cool things that people brought to share from their culture, and even if it was just a dance or a song or something like this, it was so fun to see all the cultures mixing together and getting to share like a little piece of all of you. So I really appreciate that. And I also want to praise like definitely the team that put on the retreat, but also Nico and Frischel just for always reminding me to put in all of my like hours and all of this like back end stuff that I don't really think of, and making sure that I get the reimbursement and everything in time, because I think today's the last day. And I will pass it to Nicola.
Yeah, me. Thank you. Happy Thursday, everyone. I've been thinking who and what for what praise, but honestly, like the biggest praise I want to do right now is a little general. It's more about all the people that we all experiencing. We're in during the challenging times. We are during challenging times. We're doing this together. I know many people are unhappy, and you're still around, and you're still trying your best. And I feel like that's like something we don't normally recognize about each other. We don't recognize that we're going through hard times. We don't acknowledge, we don't celebrate all the hardships that we've already gone through. And so I just felt like I want to share this little praise to everyone who's in this call and who's still like excited. And even though the changes might be, intense or uncomfortable, I feel a lot of excitement for what it can bring, and for the just fresh air. So major love to all of you guys. And I'm not sure because I cut out, so I'm not sure who's left to go.
Yeah, well, let's throw it over to Tossin.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so I want to praise Griff for making the retreat happen. It was really great seeing everybody, and that was really, really great, actually. And I want to praise Nico, Fischel, and Aldin. They were everywhere during the retreat, trying to, meet our needs, even trying to, go beyond even meeting our needs. And you guys were really, really awesome. And yes, I want to praise my hackathon teammate. I want to praise Mitch. He was great, overseeing a lot of things. I want to praise Mohammed. I want to praise Cherik. I want to praise Mary Jeff, as you guys really, really rock. And it was really, really great working with you. And hopefully we can, more of this. And I think I've gone past the number of praise, but I think we just deserve that. Everybody who showed up for the retreat, and everybody who actually held down the fort while majority were gone in Istanbul. I praise everybody. I'll pass to Mitch. Have you gone?
No, have not gone. I want to praise my hackathon team, all these amazing givers, Mohammed, Cherik, Mariam, Tossin, me, and Cherik. Can't forget Cherik. It was great hacking with you guys, staying up late, winning some prizes, just sharing time together. That was really, really awesome. And I want to praise Griff for being the man of means to bringing us all together to have this huge ass retreat. And, putting it frankly, none of it would have been possible without you. That's it. That's the, so, I have to say I appreciate you for that very much. And lastly, I want to praise everybody in my DAO Ops crew, Heather, Nico, Nicola, Frischel, just showing up all the time, bringing up the issues, having always like very great productive calls consistently, for the last 6 months. it's great to have that team and that cadence. And that's it. I'll pass it on to Heather.
Yeah, thank you. Well, first I want to thank Griff, praise Griff, our financial steward of just making our Give Connect retreat possible. And yeah, I think this really created experiences that people will remember for the rest of their lives. So thank you for that. I want to praise Algene and Nico for being our admin coordination angels during the retreat with all of the waters and the food and everything else. It was amazing. And then I want to praise everyone in the DAOOps group and then the GMHR group as well. We've had a lot of productive calls post retreat, and we are busy working. And it is the 15-minute mark, so I'm going to pass it back to Griff.
I think we're gonna have a short one today, so I think we can go all the way here. Let's just keep passing it. Let's throw it over to Almond.
Thanks. I want to praise Elgin because right after coming from Istanbul, she was back in the game, doing content and being amazing. I want to praise Anna Maria because she supported me while most of the team was out last week to create content and to made the Give news. And also, they're not here, but I would just love to praise all the projects that joined the X space that we had regarding the GG19. Well, Juanca is here. Well, I invited him. Yeah, Juanca went, sorry. So many things I can't remember. Yeah, praise to all of the projects that went. It was a 2-hour X space full of projects sharing their social impact, their GG19 grant hosted by Giveth. So praise Umberto and Anna and all the amazing projects that went and shielded their grants. And I'll pass it to I don't know, Griff, help me.
Let's throw it over to your buddy Wonk.
Juanca.
Yeah, thanks. I want to praise everyone that went to the Dev Connect. IRL experiences are the best, and like it tightens the community a lot. And yeah, I would also like to praise Almond for inviting us to the Shield space on Gitcoin and all the Gitcoin supporters on this round. Praise to all of you. And I would also like to praise myself. Yeah, I am not letting the ball drop, and yeah, that's my effort. And I will pass it to Franco.
Franco can't go, but I know that Breachies can.
Okay.
So my first praise is for Maye because like her vibes, her attitude in the video of Super Chain are super cool and it makes me smile. My second praise is for Lauren because she had been really patient with me, like teaching me how to do Gitcoin rounds and like doing all these things together so I can know how to prioritize the fundraising stuff for Giveth. And my third praise is for Jake because he had been helping me too. Like he sent me reminders or he is always like following up stuff and that helps me a lot because Giveth is a huge thing for fundraising. So thanks. And I will pass it to you, Griff. I don't have any idea who is next.
Let's throw it over to Rai. I see Rai. I assume it's Rai. Do you have any praise to dish? Up to 3 praises to anyone who you see on the call is probably always the best, but oh, Rai, you got to take off the mask and talk to us. No? Okay. Then, but if you figure out the mute button, you can unmute and we'll let you give some praise. Let's throw it over to Katabe.
GM, everyone. Glad to be back. So my first praise is for everyone that went to the Give Connect. reunion. I think it was great. I saw that lots of people, everyone there, was really interested on figure out what are the best ways to move forward. I saw a huge engagement, and I just saw a lot of human beings that were really interested in one vision coming out to reality and finding out the way to do it. And that was really heartwarming. So praise everyone that went and that were part of that. Praise everyone that did not, and that work on all the things that we could not work as much for because we were doing that. So especially praise Nicola, um, Miss Jean, when she came back and kept doing a lot of work in the background, and everyone else. And last praise, ooh, I forgot, but again, yeah, Freshell and Nico, for all the support that they do in just accounting, human resources, and everything. You're great, guys. Let's see. I think maybe Mo is missing. I'll pass it to you.
I think Mo might be the last person to round us out. Mo, are you there? Oh, nope, we still don't hear you. No luck. It's okay, Mo. But you should probably figure out the mic in case you're doing the design stuff later. But I think we can get this party started. So you guys all just experienced praise. You know the game. I don't think I need to explain it here, but it's the most important thing that's always worth saying is put it in the Discord. That's where real praise is earned. Praise is not just decentralized updates. It's also a way for us to distribute give tokens. So put your praise in the Discord and be as specific as you possibly can to make it great. So welcome to Community Call 187. We got some big announcements. We have, of course, Retro PGF is in full force. That's probably the most important thing. 30 million OP, which is like somewhere around $50 million, is being given away to projects. And we have like 7 or 8 projects out there. So that's super cool. I hope that we do well. Like I couldn't even remember all the projects we have, but there are ways that you can like engage with some of these projects if you want, like follow Retro PGF on Twitter. You can go mint your region score. You can create an Aragon DAO and Optimism thanks to the Common Stacks work. We can actually dish praise in the OP Discord. You can distribute voting. You can actually play with pairwise and distribute Retro PGF. Even if you're not a badge holder, you can at least play the game. And then there's the Giveth House, and Kai and Breachies and Marco are all up there. And there's a bunch of other cool projects that are in the galaxy. So I'm sure I'm forgetting something. So that's really the biggest thing that's going on. But there's also a lot of other things going on, at least the stuff that I know of. And I don't know if DAOOps has something to add here. But on the development side, I know that Craddy is really shaking things up. We have a new pattern for managing development work. So if you ever need development help, you want to go straight to Craddy so she can figure out which developer to bug. She's going to keep track of who's doing what and what everyone's skills are, and she'll know best which developers to work with. So if you ever have development needs, don't go straight to the developers. Let them keep deving, man. No more DMs to devs. Just DM Craddy, and she will be really responsive and figure out who is best to take on the task. Also, this is crazy. This is really an interesting idea that I think Mitch is circulating. A QF round where the givers get to choose the project. So we're still debating. We'll see if we run a QF round in around Christmas time. I know I hope we do. But if we pull it off, we're also debating whether or not we want PFP holders to actually decide which projects make it into the next QF round. So that's some real utility for our NFTs. And then, of course, the spotlight today is changing up the community call. Do we really need to run through this rigmarole every week? I don't know. Let's talk about it. We're going to talk about what we do with the community call at the end. And I think if you want to cheat and get a head start, there's a forum post that Ashley put up talking about it. Does anyone else have any announcements that they want to throw in? Then let's keep this party rolling, and I'll pass it over to Almond for communications to give us the latest.
Thank you, Griff. So for communications, I just want to let you know that we jump into the Giving Tuesday season. So Giving Tuesday is basically the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, after Black Friday, in which people redeem their capitalist demons by giving out to nonprofits, good causes, by doing good. So we jump into this celebration. And crazy enough, last year only in the United States, there were 3.1 billion of donations from this Giving Tuesday date. So we prepared these 6 articles. Basically, it was Giveth strategy in which we did these intro level articles for non-profits. And the idea is basically for you to share with them and to empower nonprofits to start in their fundraising game. So praise Steve because he wrote the 6 articles by himself. That's crazy. And go ahead and share the tweet that we made for the Giving Tuesday. And specifically, the ask is please share this with the nonprofits or the social impact projects that are not yet in Web3 but could be interest. I think that these are great intro level articles for them to review. And then the next thing that I want to share is our Istanbul content. So as a lot of you were mentioning in the praise section of this call, Istanbul retreat and Dev Connect just happened, and we made a lot of really cool content around the working sessions. So you're going to see some of the team members presenting with the content regarding the closing lunch that we had with all the eagles flying around and the Mohammed dances. And then we did also a post with highlighting our Giveth hackers. So we did a lot of content of Griff Talks, of Lauren's talk. So go ahead and like this and share it. If you don't have an Instagram account or you're not active on Instagram, just go ahead and do it. And this is something for Griff. And then also last thing, and this is an announcement, but wanted just to wait for my slide. Today is the last day to apply to the Polygon QF round on Giveth. So if you want to be part of the QF round, this is your last day to fill the village form. The first step of many other steps, but this is important because this is the first step for you to be eligible early next year. So yeah, thanks. And I'll pass it to Ashley, I believe.
Thanks, Almond. So, I guess kind of another announcement that hasn't completely been defined completely yet is that Communitas is probably going to be dissolving as a working group, and our budget will probably be picked up, most likely be picked up by the DAP working group. Right now, I'm still going to keep doing AMAs, so no worries if you have questions. Like, I'll still be in the channel at that time to answer your questions. We're not like going anywhere. We're just restructuring a little bit and being more efficient. You know, our teams are getting a lot smaller, and there's no point in having so many different working groups for only like two members in a working group. So we're gonna keep doing what we're doing, but right now our biweekly syncs are canceled until further notice. And if you go to the next slide, I put the update that stay tuned for more details in the forum. So I'm going to make a forum post just kind of like wrapping up how the last season of Communitas went, and keep an eye out for Mitch's DAP working group proposal for the budget, because you'll see some of the things that used to be in Communitas included in the new budget for the DAP going forward. So there'll be more stuff coming out in the forum about this, but I don't know, with the lack of like support for like, I don't know, leadership and like all this stuff, and I I don't feel confident really like leading it the way that I was and being responsible for all these different like budget things, and it just seems to, instead of having two people doing it and Mitch seems to like to do it, we can put our heads together and help each other and support each other in these ways. So it seems like a good way to go, and I appreciate Mitch and all of your help to figure out a solution to all of the bumps in the road. And then do we need community spotlights? Not really sure. We're going to talk about changing up the structure of the community call later. So maybe, I know that there's still some scheduled. We'll have to kind of figure out how we maneuver that. And also, there's still a link here if you want to join the Telegram group. But that's kind of an announcement and updates for Communitas. Pass it to Dap.
Oh yeah, what's happening? Well, dap. So Ashley mentioned we're working on this proposal to integrate Communitas. The Communitas work seems the same, just reducing, maybe the calls, the administrative overhead, and just looking at it more in like a bigger picture view, because Communitas deals with the same people, donors, and projects, and our goals are basically the same. So that's kind of the ideology of like bringing these two working groups together. Here for you, I've got some developer updates or some feature updates, I guess you could say. Superfluid development is going as great as these things go. There's tons of bugs and things that whatever, but Mohammed, Ali Reza, Cherik, Krati are like going hard. I know Cherik and Ali Reza especially are making great progress, and Sam's helping us out here and there with little bits of advice, and same with the Superfluid devs. They're also helping us out move forward. So going good. Multi-sig development. So this is the feature of like letting Gnosis Safes use our app finally. I'd say it's testing right now, working with Mateo, Carlos, Mariam, doing all this with them. And I think the testing's going well. We're making really great progress, and I assume we can probably wrap it up in just a few short weeks. After that, homepage improvements, the design's there, but I'm going to say this project is paused for now. We're definitely not going to take it to development. So, just putting the brakes on that. Interesting feature that's already been shipped is Spanish translations. Now, you can be in your local favorite Spanish-speaking country, and if you go to the app, it'll automatically show you it in Spanish. No more having to find this crazy button when you're in English, like, oh, how do I get it in Spanish? It just does it automatically. So based on your browser settings and what country you're connected from, it'll automatically be in Spanish. And thanks to Ramin for making that happen. Solana integration. So we have a grant agreement with Solana, just to provide some clarity. So Solana asked us and put up some money saying, hey, can you bring Solana to Giveth? So I said, sure, no problem. It's a great opportunity. And that's already happening. Amin's working on it. Krati's providing advice, CTO, and Tossin mostly completed some designs. There's some craziness around like how people sign in, how do you sign in with Ethereum versus how you sign in with Solana. And so there's some user experience things that need to be figured out. And the last update I'll share with you, there's tons of stuff happening, but email services migration, Mohammed's already starting the research work on that. This is important to make sure that our users are actually getting their emails. And some services that we currently use are going to be deprecated in a few months. So we got to make this happen. So Mohammed's starting the research work on that, and we'll get it done. After that, nothing less, nothing more. Hope you like the meme. I found it on the internet, and we'll pass it on to design.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep,
Oh,
we
okay.
hear you.
Okay. So yeah, it's working. It's on the design. Like Mitch said, we are working on how to properly we can actually connect let user connect wallets on both Ethereum wallet and Solana wallet without making the the user flow a bit let's say not easy for all of users. And also another thing is, as always, we are still fixing some small design bugs to make sure that everything is stable and good for user to use. And that's it. I pass it back to you, Griff.
Yeah, and we're skipping the QF and Give economy. The only thing that's worth mentioning is the potential QF round in Christmas and the Polygon round in early July, which is some really good action. And I'll throw it over to Mitch for
Polygon
DAO.
round in early January, and also, sorry, Griff, we were gonna skip the call, but Polygon round in early January. Today's the last day to apply, as Almond mentioned, and then we're gonna be moving into the joke race contest coming up next. I didn't update the slide because I couldn't load the slides; they were just like not working for me. So the slide is not updated, but we're also hoping to run. We're working on running a round for Talent DAO in late January, February, as well as one for ENS in January, February, and one for Metapool in January, February. So there's like 3 rounds upcoming for QF starting in the new year. So hopefully, like in the next coming weeks, we can kind of really streamline the process of how we can run rounds. Also, we are working on making a spec for making QF possible to run multiple rounds at once. As you can tell, there's quite a desire for it based on this cat and its hot dogs. Where the cat is us and the hot dogs are communities wanting to run QF rounds. But yeah, okay, that's all. So we're working on making it more possible to run multiple QF rounds at once in order to respond to all the upcoming demand. But stay tuned for more details about the Christmas round. I'm trying to hash it out like by this week. Mitch had an excellent idea about perhaps using Giveth as a way to nominate projects. But more on that later, and I'll pass back to you, Griff. Oh, DAO Ops? Griff.
Mitch.
DAO Ops. Okay, me. Yeah. So DAO Ops, we just had a call. These happen normally bi-weekly. We had a few back-to-back calls weekly because we had lots of stuff to talk about. So we just had a call today, and we'll have another call tomorrow, and that happens the hour before this community call starts. We also have a governance call that actually is going to be happening bi-weekly now, and it's going to alternate with like more of a high-level like leadership call that alternates hour-long bi-weekly. And I need to update that in the slide. But anyway, some big updates from DAO Ops. We got big updates all around. On the next slide. Yeah, slide over there. Okay, so some cool stuff that came out of our call today. Time off policies. You know, Crady was talking about making some things for the developers that, you know, we can do our planning more clearly. And this got us thinking, okay, how do we deal with time off policies, you know, as a DAO, as an organization, as a galaxy, whatever have you. So no decisions made there. We're going to draft a forum post and, you know, leave it up to us to discuss collectively because it's important. You know, maybe we want a whole policy that applies to everybody, or maybe working groups want their own policies and need to see how people feel. DAO Ops 2.5. We are going to be merging DAO Ops with Rewards Working Group. Same idea as Communitas going into the DApp. You know, reducing the administrative burdens of everybody and just reducing the amount of calls that we have and things like that. And so we're going to be bringing in the work that Rewards Working Group does into the DAO Ops. You know, nothing changes. We still do praise. People still get give tokens for, you know, receiving praise and so forth. But just reducing some administrative burdens by having all these separate working groups. Buddy agreements. We've had some issues around, you know, maybe buddies, you know, not having clear scope of like what their job is as like a buddy, to be somebody's buddy. So we've had some issues, and maybe it's just worth making a forum post so everybody's clear on like what you're actually supposed to do by being somebody's buddy. So that's going to be coming out there, just providing some clarity and a space to have a discussion about that. And lastly is the offboarding guidelines. That is a forum post that's been up for a while. So we're going to be incorporating some feedback on there, creating a final copy and publishing it to the forum as the final source of truth for how leaders within these organizations or working groups can go about offboarding contributors, which is something we've lacked clarity on. So lots of internal stuff there. Sorry, DAO ops, mostly internal. Forum posts worth checking out. If you're a core contributor only, you'll be able to see this Giveth GM merger post, but it's very important. Nobody freak out. We're just maybe just bringing in that same spirit of putting some of our administrative hurdles together to operate more efficiently. So, you know, right now we have one developer team and they do work everywhere, but that's kind of like could be managed better. And so we have, you know, designers that work everywhere. We have DevOps that work everywhere. So formalizing those processes and some other chapters that need some clarity on that, also working on that as well. And, you know, providing some clarity on products, working groups, how they should go about being accountable and transparent. And, you know, how do we make decisions as like a bigger galaxy that does lots of work everywhere. So this is a big one, relevant for core contributors. If you're a core contributor and you can't see this forum post, DM me and I can give you access permissions. Griff is also streaming on the call, but maybe we can go to some other topics there. You got anything? Yeah. The other thing is the vesting forum post. I put that up 2 days ago. So this is our regular quarterly vesting distribution. We made some small calculation changes, and that's just, you know, we were calculating things before weekly hours, and we just scaled that up to be like monthly and take an average of the work that you reported in Clockify or is in your work agreement and just, you know, base the tiers on that in the final calculation. There's about 5 million give that we're proposing to give out between 33 people here. Make sure you look, there's links to all the different spreadsheets and stuff, and make sure that the data seems accurate. Rochelle and I worked on this one. And if it looks good, after advice process, we'll send this out. Fun fact is there's only 2 more distributions after this one. We're almost done. So I've been doing this for a long time. But only a couple more, and then we're done with this contributor vesting thing. So very interesting to note. Other thing to mention here, core team compensation in October, and the last one is changing up the community call. Nothing to vote on right now in the DAO stuff. And maybe I just want to pass it along so that we have time to talk about what I just mentioned with the community call. I think fundraising still has to go. Or there's some update, just a few updates there, but I don't know, it's the same stuff, you know, pass it on. Yeah, but just take it, Jake.
Yep, that community call is too juicy to spend some time on whose time off. For us, we're focused on Arbitrum on Questbook. We got a grant out this week for Tron, which will hopefully lead into ZK Bob. ENS is on everybody's mind, just like Optimism, but ENS is really big right now for the entire galaxy, where we're spending a lot of time, not just on large and small grants, but on some potential revenue streams. Outside of that, we're still waiting on Cello. Will it ever happen? I don't know. We got Gitcoin grants, which just finished up. Results are awaiting. Looking down, we're still focused on trying to land some public goods router for Giveth and get some residuals coming in. And then what are we looking ahead to would be the end of voting December 7th on Retro PGF3. Octant voting is coming in January, as well as that Polygon QF round, and moving it quite fastly so we can get into that juicy topic. I don't know who's taking it next.
I can talk.
It's time for the juicy topic. Yeah, so Ashley, take it on for changing up community call.
Yeah, I can talk about it a bit. I made a forum post just with some different ideas and stuff and brainstorming. Basically, like during the retreat, it was decided that we have too many calls. We are using too much of our time in calls and not, we could be much more efficient with our time if we were working instead of in calls. And that we could be more strategic about the structure of the community call, being more focused on like what's coming up rather than updates. So there's a lot of different ways I think that we could do this. There's a few ideas that were, it's funny, every time I get, you switch back to the other thing that I'm like reading off. It's okay though. Okay, so there was, yeah, maybe having a weekly community call was too much, and that we could be more strategic to have more than just working group updates. So a few ideas that have come up so far is like, instead of a weekly community call, we could have a monthly town hall. Instead of focusing on updates and things that have happened in the past, somehow utilize our time together to align on like where we're going rather than where we've been. Reevaluate the audience of our call. Like, I think Mitchell was kind of saying that it's just an idea, you know, but we could maybe use the call as more of like a marketing opportunity to bring people in, and like our community call could be more geared towards our outside audience, and maybe we do something on Twitter as our community call instead, so that we're engaging all of our community and really utilizing the time that we are together to bring in more people this way. Also, just so that we don't lose out on the updates action, because I think the updates part is still important. We just don't necessarily need to get everybody in a call to give updates, but we can make like a weekly updates channel in the Discord where stewards can post their updates for that week. So we can still have a place where we can go and get all the updates, make sure that, you know, we're staying up to date with what's happening in the working groups, but we don't need to waste everyone's time like getting in a call. I don't know if you've seen sometimes Mitchell post the like DApp updates in the all dev channel of like what's been going on. These are the new features that they're working on and this kind of stuff. So I guess it would be something like that from each working group. Whether we have a channel that where people post it, or somebody, you know, goes to each steward and collects them and makes a bulletin or something, at least it would only be one person's time collecting updates instead of everybody's time in a call. So I think like those are the main ideas and things that I've heard so far. I would really love to hear more ideas, like how you could see our calls being structured moving forward. Like, what are the benefits and disadvantages of what we've been doing? Should we still use slides, or should we just like completely change it up? If we're gonna do something on Twitter, then we don't have screen sharing capability. So I don't know. There's different ways that we could go forward, but it could be advantageous to do like a Twitter space kind of thing. There were a couple concerns that have been presented so far, is that the praise culture could take a huge hit, like without having a designated weekly space for people to give praise, like maybe no one will praise anymore. So trying to figure out a way to address that, maybe one solution could be making space for praise in our other calls. You know, we start out our other calls with intentions and distractions, and maybe like just our one praise for somebody in that call or something, just so we're keeping the praise culture alive. And then the other concern is just like no longer having community spotlight opportunities. There would only be one per month rather than like, you know, 4 per month. So how do we address collaboration opportunities in this space and be able to like ask questions to the presenter? I know some people have made forum posts, and that could be an alternative. However, like most people aren't very active in the forum. When somebody comes in and makes a forum post about how we can collaborate, no one really like engages so much. It's not like the community spotlight where we're listening and then we're asking questions and getting like live demo. So I don't know. These are kind of some of the things that have been brought up, but I would love to hear more from all of you guys here in this call or in the forum posts. Let's come up with some ideas.
Yes. I have opinions. I have an opinion on this. No surprise. So I look at this group of people, and I've seen for the last 2 years, you know, I see there's lots of new faces. That's cool, but the majority of times we have a community call, it's just the core contributors. You know, most of us, we work here. This is our day to day. And so is it really valuable? Is it the value that we wanted to get out of the community call to just like inform everybody else what the working groups have been up to? And in the spirit of reducing calls and administrative burdens, you know, can we achieve the same effect of, you know, making this announcements channel? You know, I had a DApp call, And I had all these people there, and nobody was really getting value out of the call because the purpose was to just like announce, you know? So I scrapped the call. There's no more DAP call when we just like do announcements. And can we get that same value out of having a video camera's off? Do we get what's the value we want to get? Is this what the community calls for? Just for informing the people, you know, who work day to day in Giveth, or do we want something that's more outward facing, which I think is something that we lack a lot of, is outward facing, you know, bringing people in. And, you know, how do we, you know, is this what we want, or what do we want out of the community call? Because I feel like the community call was for something else. It was supposed to be an external thing, but it just became this internal thing that, you know, everyone comes to mostly just because like they have to present updates, or it feels like it's part of their job. Sorry, to be frank, you know, to most of us who work here. I'll leave it there, and maybe someone has like a counter opinion.
Opinion. I think that there's no point in having a like performative style community call unless we're like really making it like a social media type thing, or somewhere that's more accessible. Kind of having this like, yeah, we're gonna like engage the broader community within our Discord is like sort of like user unfriendly. But there is value in the community call in terms of like that it's like a place where people can kind of get aligned on things. And I think that, you know, the place that this originally came from, I remember it was like we were talking about like I don't remember, like trying to get people more aligned and like on the same roadmap, but it was like I was talking about this with my group, and a lot of people in my small group, my breakout group in the retreat, were saying that like they don't really know what is like the bigger picture of Giveth and what is like our roadmap and what people are agreeing to. So like we kind of have a little bit of that kind of alignment going on with like these PM syncs and stuff, but that's not getting like, you know, distributed to the broader community. It's like that everybody's kind of rallying behind. So anyway, I made a comment, but Griff is like streaming right now, but like I think that we should have two calls, like, and like one is basically like stewards only, where we kind of like can debate about, are we moving in the same direction, what things do we drop and what things do we keep, and then like to just get like totally aligned, and just keep it like a small call with like the stewards of the working groups really trying to get aligned on the bigger picture Giveth roadmap thing, and then like another call where this is kind of like explaining it to everybody. And the idea is that the audience is like the broader community of Giveth contributors, like everybody who works within Giveth comes to this call, and we can change the time of it too, so it's not so inconvenient for a lot of our team. And basically have it a place where like all of the devs know that like all of the top level things that we're trying to achieve that that term or whatever, that month.
Yeah. My point is though, is like if the purpose of a call, if the only purpose of a call is to inform, then why not just, you know, send an email, you know, or make this announcement channel?
Well, because nobody's going to read it. And also I think that like inform, and people can also ask questions and then like kind of like leave a bit of feedback too. But it kind of like, I think we need clear alignment on like people who are leading working groups, and then have that kind of like be explained to the broader audience, but still with space to be adjusted based on like everybody's you know perspective.
But is it practical? Would that be an hour-long call, or would that be a multi-hour thing?
I mean, I have no idea. I think we would have to try and see. I think the alignment call for stewards would probably need to be more than an hour, so we could talk about like what each of our working group goals are and like how is this fitting into the bigger picture, and make space to really debate. But then like the other call, if it's just like simple updates, we could probably have it a similar style like we do this call, but like actually working groups are more aligned instead of just like people just saying sort of like what's happening in their neck of the woods, you know? But kind of like, here's the bigger picture, and then like here is how each of these working groups are supporting that bigger picture. And it's like, hey, any questions? Any feedback?
What kind of questions would you hope to get? And what would be the decisions that you would make from those questions? Would you change the way you're doing things from what people ask questions in the...
I mean, I think it would have to like depend on what it would depend on what the questions are. Like maybe we're deciding like as stewards that we're like really not going to focus on this part of like this product, and then it's like, okay, all the stewards get aligned on it, and then it's like, okay, design knows, devs know, like comms knows and all the different people and parts of it, because it's just like we don't have that alignment right now. And that's like, honestly, I think that is where this discussion came from, is like, I remember I was like explaining whatever my group was talking about, and I was just like, yeah, we don't think that the community call is good for what it is right now, and here's a way that we could make it better. And it was coming from people in the working group just being like, I don't understand the bigger roadmap, and I don't understand the bigger picture. So it's like, even if working group stewards are saying their neck of the woods bigger picture things as like small updates, or even if we send an email, I mean, like, I don't think people will necessarily read it, and there needs to be a place where people can engage with it.
So making them join a call will mean that they're going to pay attention.
I mean, what do you think, Mitch? Like, do you have a better idea?
Yeah, do announcements.
I think it's important that it can't be always one way. Like sometimes maybe some people are like announcing one thing and other people are announcing another thing, and they conflict. Like I think there does need to be some space to make decisions as a group about, okay, like for instance, the Christmas QF call, it'd be nice if we just had like a monthly sync to be like, are we doing that or not, and then that's set for the month, and there's a plan, and all the leaders are aligned on what's going to happen. Of course, things might come up and change. It's not like things can't change, but having space to decide the month ahead, I think it makes a lot of sense.
But so then for that community call, you would want, 40 to 50 people, on there participating in those decisions, or because I think you want that to happen in like a working group, it's like Lauren does the QF. She listens to the people that are important to her and she makes the call,
Yeah, I think we have a steward's call right now. I think she's just saying like we replace this call with a different function of steward's call, and and a monthly community call. And so it's not like it wouldn't be that everyone needs to go to it, but just the leaders, probably the stewards. So it wouldn't be a community call. It would just be a different call.
So if only some of the people come and our purpose is to inform everybody and get questions, does that meet what we need it to do? Only the people interested come and ask questions.
I guess it could be potentially the same as what you're suggesting, Mitch, of if we do it where it's only async and written, then the same people are only going to probably come and be informed by the written updates as well. So it's a tough battle here, because both ways you could say the same thing.
Yeah. Yes, I see. But the information's broadcasted. It's like, read it if you're interested, Whereas, people could do that on their own time, but the meetings are, it's time, they have a cost, the meetings.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Lauren, but the steward's call you're proposing is not like a community call. It's just the steward's call we have now, except we would remove that and we make it into just one longer call.
Well, what I'm thinking is that the steward's call, I mean, I don't think that the steward's call we have now is very useful, because it's like we don't have that let's get aligned on the bigger picture thing, even though we kind of do. It's mostly just kind of like we kind of go around and we talk about what we're doing, what our goals are across the working groups, but there's not really that alignment. And what I found at the retreat is that a lot of people within our core team even were like not even aware of the larger Giveth roadmap. It's like first time they ever heard about GIRVs. It's like first time they ever heard about like our funding needs, or these kind of other these things that like I'm thinking about all the time and I'm arguing with you about all the time. So it's like we need a space where like people get informed about those things. And like, I mean, I guess we could make it a forum post, but I think that also then it doesn't really leave space for like every steward to kind of like have their say of how their pieces work into the bigger picture. And then and then also just like who's going to read it. I just don't think, like, I mean, we could make it in the Discord as an announcement thing, but like, yeah, maybe some people read it or maybe they don't, blah blah blah. But if we just have like a once like a once a month like community call where everybody can join and then like get those bigger picture updates and ask questions. I think would just be a lot more effective. And I think that we'll have also better attendance if we just move the call time so that like, you know, half our team can join.
Any other thoughts about changing up the community call?
Well, if something comes up for you, put it in the forum post. I will go through and kind of try to make a summary of the things that were talked about here. But if you have opinions, like please add them to the forum post and let's figure out how we can evolve this because I think that it definitely has value, but let's figure out how we can be efficient and make the most impact out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to encourage people. If you're here, you came to a community call. Why did you come here? What are you looking for? We're going to change the community call to, and if you give us input on this forum post, it might be exactly what you want it to be. If you don't give us input, well, then we don't know what you want. So, why do you come to this call? What do you get out of it now that if we got rid of it, it would be disappointing for you? We want to know. So please engage with the forum post, and we're going to switch it up here pretty soon. Maybe the next week will be canceled. We'll see what the forum post says. Well, thank you all for coming, and we hit our hour, so we'll see you all at the next one? Question mark? Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, everyone.
Well done on
Thanks,